Guys, welcome back to Rodder's Garage. As you can see behind me is the 1980 Pontiac Sunbird with the twin Eaton 90s on it. Back down at the shop just in time to put it away for winter storage. The snow is going to be flying soon, and I wanted this out of my garage at home to make room for other projects like the Yard Art Model A's bodywork and stuff like that. I'm going to pull the heads off. I need the cam, the lifters, and other stuff to put in that engine block over there in that bag. That is the original bottom end that I first started the twin Eaton 90s on. It is a bone stock 96 or 7 Vortec engine with 188,000 miles on it. I'm gonna put that back in the car again today just to make this thing run, because I didn't really want to put it in the barn for storage in a non-running condition, because it probably would sit there for the next 5 to 10 years before I pull it out, versus if it runs when spring rolls around, I'll be a lot more motivated to go turn the key and drive it out of there and start playing with this thing again. So that's the plan. Let's pull this one apart, see how bad it actually is, swap some parts over, put it in there, put that one back in the car, and make this thing make some noise again. Let's get started. Yeah. Or not. All right, ready? It's not that heavy. No. Huh. That's not nearly as bad as I thought. Oh, there's the bad one. Ooh. Killed 3 of them over here. Wow. Let's go over here and take a look at the pistons, and I'll show you how bad those are destroyed. All right, cylinder number 1. Not too bad, but it does have a melty spot up there on the right side next to that valve relief. Going back to number 3, burned the corner right off down to the ring. Number 5, kind of melty up there by the valve relief. Number 7, same thing, burned it right down to the ring from the top of the piston. But the best one is cylinder number 6. Look at that one. Melted that sucker all the way around, right down to the ring on the bottom and the top left corner. That is by far the worst one. Moving up to number 2 here. Not the worst, definitely got hot. Number 4, yep, pretty bad. And number 8. So yeah, I destroyed that $650 set of pistons. However, kind of lucked out a little bit because I rolled this thing over a few times, which it rolls over really nice. Yeah, there's not one bad spot in any of the cylinder walls on this thing, which is great for me. A little bit of aluminum piled up on the cylinder wall in number 6 here, where that one really melted down. But even back where that ring is sticking up, where it melted the ring off, there's really not any bad marks in that cylinder wall. Nothing that I don't think a dingle ball hone can't resolve, and just put a new set of 30 over pistons in this thing so I don't have to punch the block out to 60 again. So bonus for me. I'm gonna kind of set this one to the side for now and use that for a different project more than likely, and we'll just keep with this one in here until either something happens, I'll get all the tuning done on this one, and maybe one day build a better bottom end for these Superchargers. I put this Edelbrock on top for now, and that's just so I can get this thing fired up, get it out of the shop, put it on the trailer, and put it away for winter storage. This is actually for another project, and I'm just gonna take it right back off once it's in storage and tape up the intake once more. So basically, I switched out a couple fittings here off my regulator, ran a 3/8 line up, kind of flipped this backwards, just enough to make it run for a little bit and get it put away. I got the battery hooked up. There's no fuel in that carburetor. I'm gonna crank this thing a little bit, get some fuel up to the top, and hopefully this thing pops right off. I got oil in the engine, antifreeze in the radiator. Let's give it a try and see if it runs again. Won't start. Doesn't seem to want to stay running. It actually fired off, and I've been throwing a lot more advance at it just to even make it try to run. But I do notice if I spray a little brake cleaner down the carburetor, it actually fires off right away and then starts running poorly. And I guess I really didn't think that this thing has been sitting for a year and a half or whatever. So pretty sure I'm gonna have to drain the fuel tank, get all this gas out of here, and go get some new premium gas. That doesn't smell good at all. Well, that's probably the problem. Sunbird is put away for winter storage, and that's exactly where it's going to stay for the next 3 or 4 months until springtime rolls around, where I can get it back out with dry roads and start playing with it again. So obviously the thing melted. I melted all of the pistons out of this. And well, I gotta be honest with you, in the beginning I kind of thought of this more as a novelty thing, putting 2 of these Eaton 90s on this small block. I just thought it'd look cool. I thought it'd be a cool idea. There was a couple other people playing with the concepts and ideas out there in YouTube land at the time. So I kind of threw this thing together, not really expecting much out of it. Definitely not 10, 11, 12 pounds of boost. I really didn't think it was going to achieve that. I thought it would just be cool, even if it made a couple of pounds, that would have been neat. But it is successfully making 10, 11, 12 pounds of boost at this point in time, and it runs pretty well. Unfortunately, I never really did the math or the homework on exactly how many CFM or what size carburetor a guy actually needs to feed a supercharged setup running 10, 11, 12 pounds of boost. So after doing some research online, I found on the blower shop, they have an equation that should get you ballpark close to how much carburetor you actually need on a blower application. Maximum CFM required, they have a calculation here. Engine cubic inch diameter times maximum RPM divided by 3456 times maximum boost divided by 14.7 plus 1. That's the equation they would use to figure out a ballpark of how many CFM you actually need for a carburetor, or multiple carburetors to add up to, basically. And if I plug my numbers into that with a 350 cubic inch at 6,000 RPMs, I know it makes more than 10 pounds. I believe it makes 12, but let's split the difference and call it 11 pounds. You do all the math on that, and that's how many CFM is suggested for the 10, 11, 12 pounds of boost that the twin Eatons are actually making. So a single Holley 750 double pumper was never going to cut it on this thing. So my lack of research and kind of haphazardly throwing this thing together is basically why I melted this thing down. So when spring rolls around, let's correct the problem. What I'm going to do is, I think I'm going to start looking for a 1050 Dominator. I don't really like the idea of running dual quads on this thing. I don't really want to change that whole upper intake and then have 2 carburetors and redo the scoop. I kind of like the way it looks with 1 carburetor in the center. So basically, if I get myself a 1050 Dominator, I believe, well, I know they have a bigger base flange on it. So if I get one of those, I can go ahead and boost reference power valves and then basically just change the upper piece of my intake hat on the that attaches to the blowers, and basically bolt on a 1050 Dominator and start from that point. 1050 CFM should get me a lot closer than a single 750 double pumper. So that's the plan for spring. We're gonna go that route, see what happens, and hopefully it doesn't run lean anymore at that point in time. So, well, we'll see what happens then. 3 or 4 months from now, maybe I'll change my mind again. But as for now, the Sunbird is in running condition, and when the weather gets nicer, I'm gonna make something happen. I'm gonna make something happen to try to correct the lean problem on this thing. Appreciate it, guys. Thanks for watching. If you have any input on this whole scenario with these twin Eaton 90s, let me know in the comments below. Till next time.